Good morning and welcome to Mornings with a Stranger. Today we have a request that comes to us through my music reaction channel. It's a request from Troy Stewart, inspired by the reaction I did to Tim Minchin's Play It Safe, the video that goes along with the celebration of the Sydney Opera House 50 years. And so this is some interviews and some video about the behind the scenes. So I'm curious to learn more. I went and re-listened to the song again, and as is with many songs in general, and of course Tim's songs, the more you listen to them, the more pieces and you grab along the way, and that song I have more appreciation for it every time I listen to it. So let's check it out, and thank you, Troy, for the suggestions. Let's watch.
It won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on.
Okay, that was your break.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, that's
All right. I got asked to be a part of the Opera House's 50th birthday. I feel honored.
This is a celebration, and it's the Opera House, and I felt very flattered to be asked to contribute to that.
First time dancing with the Opera House to celebrate the 50 years. That's why we're here.
We wanted to say something about how this building is a monument to bravery, to artistic ambition, to pushing through the voices that said this is a folly or this art doesn't matter. And I thought about how we all have that conservative voice in our head, that the building acts as a metaphor for what you can do within yourself if you just take a risk and stick your neck out.
This song is kind of like an anthem to conservatism, if you listen to the lyrics, but then the visual representation is just so over the top and so fabulous, and that's the kind of satire that Tim has written, which just works so beautifully.
It creates a very strong message in a way that's both humorous but also musically, I think, really beautiful.
Being asked to join forces with Tim Minchin, it's kind of like, well, this is pretty exciting, isn't it?
Is it?
Kim's a world-class talent. Her work is brilliant, and we knew if we could get someone of her caliber on the project that it would really bring Tim's musical style to life.
We originally had meetings with Tim and Kim and Jim and Lynn. No, I'm only joking. And Kim and Tim and I, we just talked about a few ideas.
What Kim very beautifully articulated is the underlying intent of the song rises up out of the irony. That's a skill set. I knew that when I was realizing I got to work with this incredible array of artists, that I was working with absolute guns.
What we wanted to do was try and present each of the ensembles and the artists that we're dealing with in their most beautiful and most special light.
We just wanted to really tap into our cultural spirit and energy, and so we just created with some physical motifs and movement.
Lady in red.
It's a huge honor to be able to just get glimpses of these artists. The ballet dancers, Hugh and Katie, it's just like, oh my God, I get to work with these people who have honed a craft over decades.
It's just gorgeous to be a part of, and just watching the filming today and seeing like all of the brown suits and the textures and the concrete and the wood and everything in here, it's such a rich palette, and it just looks so like gorgeous.
It was when we started working with the dancers and some of the material that Kim was getting and the way she was using dance to really bring out the architecture of the building. It really has, this entire project has made me fall in love with the house in an entirely new way, and I sort of felt like someone who knew the house quite well.
The day's going amazing, like the atmosphere, the vibe, it's all there.
Waiting for camera, rolling, and action, so it's been fun.
We're still going. I'm about to go to the concert hall and stand on a piano. We're gonna get this shot, so follow me along now and let's go get the shot. Are you coming? my introduction is starting to pull at that thread of satire and show what's going on beneath the surface of it. Getting to have that little explosive cameo has been such a joy.
Today we've been filming one of the indoor scenes on the staircase. Tim's coming through the tunnel and I'm sort of, being glamorous on the outside.
I must admit, my favourite shot in a sort of sexy opera house way is the drone shot with Kathy and William on the sails.
Being on top of the sails of the opera house, we're performing Tim Minchin's work. And with Kathy as
That is just like amazing. Just like the process of getting up there and being up there, it's got to be just a beautiful experience. This is just so cool that they did that.
of the opera house, we're performing Tim Minchin's work. And with Kathy as well on the other sail. So we're, hey young Kathy. Members of the Kalkadunga tribe presented this didgeridoo to me as a gift. So it's special to have this didgeridoo with me from my own country. Just shows the spirit of music sharing amongst all nations.
I got to perform in front of the Olsen mural, and today I was with Tim on the organ.
So the Philharmonia Choir, they provide the role of a Greek chorus really all the way through, and you get such a warmth and such a sense of scale from working with a group like that, but also that particular ensemble. There's such joy in that group and they've been so wonderful to work with.
It's really nice to hear a bunch of beautiful voices in harmony singing behind you.
The SSO, it's an interesting part of the song because they come in over the line, you've got to play it safe. And so we wanted to sort of show a little bit of the element of an orchestra coming in and doing in some ways what you wouldn't expect an orchestra to do, but as you see the transition and the development of the piece, by the end of the track, the orchestra is playing in a completely different way, and lots of very florid runs, extremely sort of syncopated rhythm at the end. So you hopefully see a transition for the orchestra and they're playing all the way through. Then you've got an ensemble like the ACO, a world-class chamber orchestra, and try to find something within the song that they could do that could play to their strengths.
I love that bit. That was super cool. They all were playing it for real during the filming, even though the recording had already been done.
And then I did a bit of a razzle-dazzle.
Dancing on the stairs of the opera house.
I'm so looking forward to that one because I like to dance Adele.
This is amazing. It's very, very exciting.
It's an incredible experience, once in a lifetime, so rare but beautiful.
Symbols like the Opera House are so important to show us that being different and stepping outside the box can be a wonderful thing.
Places like the Opera House are so important because you need these spaces that we can share our truths in.
And this is a monument to pushing up against the edge of what is possible.
Thanks.
That was fun. That was fun, though.
Put that in your documentary and smoke it.
Okay, so that was the Play It Safe video, the first one of 3, and yeah, it's just really cool. All of the different groups they've brought together, and I mean, what an amazing experience just to blend all those folks and really kind of show the diversity, the arts, and what the Opera House can do. And I think I don't know, I think it's really cool. What a blast to be a part of, and I can imagine like the gentleman, I think it was the arranger, I think, talking about just how he's seeing the Opera House in a different way, and how, yeah, just doing this project would just bring you to all these different awarenesses and different perspectives. Yeah, what an honor to be a part of. I love that they asked him to do this. I think this is just like such a perfect choice. I don't know. I don't know who Australians would think would have made a better choice. From my limited perspective, this is awesome. All right, this is a little video clip about writing the song.
I had this lyric that went, on the first day the Lord gave you television, on the next he delivered a couch, tell me, how do you explain Fuckboy Island if the universe wanted you out and about? And I wasn't allowed to say fuck, and I wasn't allowed to use an existing TV show. This is a celebration, and it's the Opera House. And I felt very flattered to be asked to contribute to that. I just got really intrigued by what you want to say about a place like this on an anniversary like this. Like, how do you talk about its impact? I actually got really hooked in by the challenge. We had come to the conclusion that we wanted to say something about how this building is a monument to bravery, to artistic ambition, to pushing through the voices that said this is a folly or this art doesn't matter. And I thought about how we all have that conservative voice in our head, that the building acts as a metaphor for what you can do within yourself if you just take a risk and stick your neck out. And so I thought, I'm going to write the conservative voice. I'm going to be the voice in your head that says you shouldn't take risks and you shouldn't be ambitious because failure is too risky and that you'll get hurt, basically. So just play it safe. Irony requires to understand, to trust that the audience will immediately get that the intention is the opposite of the content. By choosing to do an ironic song, it is definitely appealing, I think, to the good side of the Australian, rebellious spirit. I think because I'm a lover of words, weirdly, it was a lyric that came late because I added a section when the amazing orchestrator musical supervisor, Elliot, added a double time jazz thing at the end. I added some lyrics. So my favourite lyric as a lyricist is find a doctrine, get it locked in, build a box and stay in it, because of the triple internal rhyme. The one lyric that is the heartbreaking lyric is, there's this show that's called Fuckboy Island, that they call F-Boy Island, which is a reality show. And when I heard about it, I thought, that's the end times. If this building's a monument to bravery and artistic thinking, Fuckboy Island is a monument to absolute and just, I get it. If I watched it, I'd get addicted to it. I'm not beyond it. So by the way, what I replaced it with is the word content.
Oh my God, I love that. I love that. Yes, well said, Tim Minchin. Oh, I'm not a super fan of reality TV for exactly the point that he's making, and I also agree. I don't watch it because I could see me getting caught up in some of it, but there's some of it that I have watched and I'm like, nope. This is painful to watch. This is doing more damage to our society than it is helping. And shame on us for making it and watching it.
I get addicted to it. I'm not beyond it. So by the way, what I replaced it with is the word content, which for one syllable sounds a bit like I'm saying cunt, so I got my swear word into it.
That's so Tim.
I had this fantastic moment just a few weeks ago. My 14-year-old, who doesn't talk much, he's the more sort of quiet of the two, he listened to it, and afterwards I said, what do you think? And he went, yeah, it's good. And I went, how did it make you feel? And he went, it made me want to do the opposite. And I went, that's all. I just hope by the end you're like, actually screw that voice. Like, I'm not going to listen to that voice.
Awesome. Yes, I love learning about the kind of what brought the song about, and this is just it's fun to hear the inspiration for the lyrics, and it's fun to hear how they transformed over time. And his kid's reaction is awesome. Smart, self-aware kid. What it must be like to grow up being the child of Tim Minchin. It's gotta be a very, I would think, very cool place to be. Probably not appreciated until his kids are like, 50, maybe? Maybe they will. Who knows? I don't know. I shouldn't make that assumption. But knowing how human beings are, perspective is everything. Okay, let's get to the next one. Tim Minchin's tribute to the Sydney Opera House 50th anniversary. I don't know. We'll see what this is going to share with us.
You just turn a corner and you're in a new architectural wonder. This is an icon of art in this country, an absolute symbol of what we can be. I think I came with my parents when I was 11 at the Sydney Opera House. Felt so out of reach. Being here and knowing that not only have I got to play here, but that I've sort of become associated with it just in my own tiny way is such a shock to me.
Wow, that's
You don't have to be a fan of sort of post-mid-century architecture or Danish architecture, or you don't have to know about the history of the engineering feats in this place. You don't have to love opera. You don't have to love dance to have a relationship with this place. It has emerged for me as my favourite building in the world, and I've played in and been to a lot of amazing buildings in the world. Without a doubt, the Sydney Opera House is one of those, I don't know, maybe top 5 venues in the world that artists, performers will see playing here as a massive bucket list tick, you know, playing at the Met or Madison Square Gardens, for me playing at the Royal Albert Hall and Wembley Arena. You know, these things, when I'm showing off or when I'm like name dropping, I'll be like, yeah, I've played at the Royal Albert Hall and the O2 and Wembley and the Sydney Opera House. You know, it's that. It is globally iconic. The silhouette of it jumps in front of your eyes as soon as you say Sydney Opera House. And that makes it perhaps unique. You know, it's like more like the pyramids of Giza. I think that first time I played here in the studio, we actually filmed my first ever DVD. And that felt like a real moment, a real, oh my God, I think I might have a career. You know, I might be real. I might be an actual person doing art. And then cut forward 10 years and playing on the forecourt here. And I organised to have a lot of the musicians in my family, of which there are quite a few, fly over from WA, including my uncle Jim, who wrote a song in 1975, so just 2 years after this place opened. In the year I was born, he wrote a song about the harbour in Fremantle called Harbour Lights. And so I had this idea that I would play Jim's song on the harbour, under harbour lights, you know, so I flew him over. He's a pretty old dude now and hasn't been very well, but got him over. And then a bunch of my cousins and my brother and both my sisters, and we sung his song, and that might be the most special moment of my performing at this place.
Did a music reaction to that one. Maybe we'll link that here too, just for fun. It's pretty cool.
The things I've seen here and the opportunities I've had to play here make me realise that it's not only transcendent but utterly of this country and of us, and I just want people to keep coming to it. There's always amazing stuff happening here.
This is definitely one of those places I hope in my lifetime I get to go. I remember learning about this in elementary school. I don't remember a whole lot of what I learned, but I remember learning some about the architecture, nice. The architecture, guess this has architecture. And yeah, I don't remember exactly what I learned, but I remember it. I just thought that place sounds amazing. And I don't remember the details, but the acoustics and just, yeah, all of that, like it just so struck me as this amazing, beautiful place that I just like, I want to go and see a show there, right? It'd be fun to tour. I assume they do tours or whatever, but to see a show would be amazing. So it's just really fun to hear Tim's experience and the whole growing up and yeah, like being the 11-year-old Tim and then being able to play there. I love his statements about like being real and really being a person who's doing this music thing is just awesome. On a slightly unrelated note, one of the things that I just, for obvious reasons, but I would be curious to know if there is any connection to the Lotus Temple in India. Obviously, they look somewhat similar and very different at the same time. The Lotus Temple in New Delhi, India. And I realize that, you know, obviously they just kind of look like each other, but at the same time, I'm just curious if any similarities of not just design, but of sound structure were used in the creation of the temple. I don't remember what I learned about the Lotus Temple when I was there either, about the architecture. God, I keep saying architecture. What's that about? Architecture and kind of the inside design. I'm just super curious. So good memories, fun experience. I highly suggest if you're in New Delhi, India, go check it out. Really pretty at night too. That was awesome. Thank you, Troy, for the suggestion in the 3 videos. I love the opportunity to just kind of learn more about the Opera House and the history, and of course, I love learning about Tim and his songs and his thought process. And I love that he took irony to the subject. I think it's obviously not an obvious thing to do, and it's also brave in its own right. So very fitting, very well played. And yeah, I'd love to know for the Australian folks watching this, did this feel like a fitting 50th anniversary celebration? I mean, I have no idea what they did there beyond this, but just curious from the perspective of somebody who lives in the country. Fantastic. Thank you all so much for being here. Please do like the video and subscribe to the channel. Check out the other videos. Our channel is turning very very Australian, a bit of spicks and specks and a lot of Tim and a lot of behind this. Yeah, it's all good. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So I hope you are too. We'll see you soon. Bye.